I'm connected first, and I'll just do some of the preliminaries or something like that. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're having an amazing day. It's Mr. DONDWE once again, and we're live here in or on YouTube. All right. Thank you so much. Not yet. I'm connected. Okay. Thank you so much. Now we're live in YouTube, guys. And for this afternoon, or I am very honored and also lucky to have my friend here from East Kalimantan, from Tabolo. All right. So to share to us this afternoon, his viewpoint, his personal note pertaining to the topic about deforestation. All right. On a personal note, with Mr. DONDWE live here in YouTube. Okay. So without further ado, I would like to help me welcome, I should say, my friend Dimas from South Kalimantan, from Tabalo area. Okay, so how are you today, Dimas? How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. How are you, Mr. Dandy?
I'm doing well because I'm with you this afternoon, late afternoon actually here in Jakarta. It's already
Yeah.
10 here in Jakarta.
Right.
How's the weather in your area in Kalimantan?
Well, it's pretty humid and hot. It's unusual, actually.
It's an unusual weather.
We're usually having a heavy raining
I
at
see.
our regular weather, so
All
it's
right.
kind of surprising.
So it's really surprising because that's the usual weather that you have, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So it's like, and it's all of a sudden it's humid. So it's quite, it's quite interesting. And
Quite
maybe
a
that's
surprise.
because of climate change. I guess that's one of the
Yeah.
manifestations, right, of climate change.
Another
Anyway,
fun fact.
I'm definitely honored to introduce you and also to listen to you pertaining to your ideas about deforestation in relation to your personal note, your own personal knowledge pertaining to this and how this is relatable to your city, your hometown, your city, and the rest of the world. So without further ado, to all our viewers here in YouTube, I would like to welcome you all to our live stream pertaining to a discussion about deforestation. So my friend here, Dimas, will give us some information about deforestation. Okay, you may now share screen, and then you can go ahead. You can
All right,
start.
thank you. Thank you for letting me presenting my presentation about deforestation.
Sure,
I'll
sure.
just share my screen now.
Sure. Go on.
Can you see it now?
Yes, I can see it clearly. That's, I think, second slide or something.
Right. Okay. So we're talking about deforestation. It's one major thing that we cannot simply ignore now, since we are also facing a climate change, then by tackling this particular issue about deforestation is also one of the key to tackling climate change issue in general. So I think it's one simple reason that might be an urgency for us to study more about deforestation issues that happening around us. So we might need to know what is exactly deforestation is about. So, all right. So to put it simply, deforestation is a removal of a portion of forest areas, or it might be a small scale or a nationwide or something like that.
I see.
It's basically a removal of forests, but without being aided by subsequent reforestation or recovery of the lost forest areas. So it's not the case that when you cut down trees but you recover it again, it's not constituted as deforestation. So deforestation obviously cause loss in biodiversity and destruction to animals' habitats. That's one obvious impact that we can see today. And for the humans themselves, they might lose their natural resources, such like woods and fuels, and then carbon carbon stocks. Carbon stocks are oxygen suppliers. We might lose them even more if we let deforestation happening around us. So that's basically what is deforestation is about. Now, there's a lot of causes of deforestation, and uh, regarding to the main causes, it can be influenced by the population growth. That is obvious as well, because as time progresses, humans keeps on growing in numbers, and we cannot defy that. So that consequently force us to provide shelters and areas for humans to do their activities, to provide dwellings for them, and then consequently it leads to opening areas that is not habits, especially in the forest, and that obviously would lead to the loss of forest areas even more. Now, climate. Well,
Yeah.
climate is also another major reasons of deforestation. I mean, but the kind of climate itself might differ between each of the countries. For example, if you take Brazil and Americas, they have a lot of deforestation that is caused by the wildfires. And one case that recently happened is in California, as people might know that the wildfire it still keep on happening till this day. So it's really horrifying to see the scale of destruction that it causes. We might lose about 100,000 hectares of land areas of worth of forests. So that is destructive as well. And some might be caused by landslides as well. I couldn't think of the cases caused by landslides, but I think I've heard a lot of this case from India, I guess, or Pakistan, where there happens a lot of landslides that causes destruction to the forest areas. So climate might be the biggest reason of deforestation. And agriculture. Agriculture is also one consequence from the population growth, actually. So as people demand for land areas for their activities, it leads to a higher demand of land areas for agricultural activities as well. So yeah, it might forces some people to burn out some forests and cut down trees to provide some spaces for them to do agricultural activities. That's one causes as well. Now, these three causes is getting more specific as I see it. So the first one is the first one is actually happening in a lot of emerging economies, especially Indonesia, actually. So logging, especially illegal logging, takes account for like half of the deforestation cases in Indonesia. So I think this one might be caused by the lack of regulations of logging activities in one country. So that's one point to note. And then fuel. For some countries, wood fuels might still play a huge role in their energy sector. So deforestation as a means for providing wood fuels might be still a prominent activity. So that's one thing again. Then burning and grazing. So I think this one is particularly very specific, I guess, especially the grazing one, because I think grazing is happen a lot in America, I guess, as I see it. So as the population increasingly grow in numbers, the need for meat and the need for meat might increase even more. So canneries activities increase, and then it leads to higher activities of grazing by sheep, goats, and other cattle animals. And then burning. Burning is one big causes of deforestation, like especially what is happening in California. So in summary, this particular environmental issue is one issue that is still happening a lot in our society, even to this day, where society's mindset are starting to change to prioritizing to green life. Regardless of, in spite of that, this deforestation issue is still happening. So we might need a bigger movement, or even better, a revolution to affect everybody's mindset to start changing their mindset to green life right away, before it's too late, I guess. So I think that's all that I can share with you.
All right,
About
that's very informative, and it's a very clear point with regards to deforestation and the effects of deforestation in our community, in our country, and in the world as a whole. When you cut down trees, I just would like to ask a question. When you cut down trees and you will replace them with another tree or something like that, will that suffice? Will that be a good, let's say, a good manifestation of a solution, perhaps, to deforestation? We cut down trees, we cut down the rainfall or the trees in the rainforest or in the forest. However, we are going to plant another tree. Will that suffice? Will that be okay for you? What do you think?
well, if we're speaking for the long term, of course it's suffice enough. But I'm more concerned about the time interval it takes for the forest itself to recover. I mean, we cut down trees. It only takes about like 1 hour or 2 hours to wipe them all, but it takes about 5 years or even more to basically revive those lost areas, like what it used to be. So that is one point that we should concern about. So I think it's not really suffice. Yeah, I think it's not really suffices to uh, do reforestation on the same scale as the deforestation. I think we have to employ a greater ratio of reforestation with respect to the deforestation. I mean, we can make like 1/2 of ratio between the deforestation and reforestation. So when you cut down some trees, you have to revive almost twice the numbers of the forest that you have just cut. So I
Yeah,
think that's what I can think of.
that's a very good point as well. I think, yeah, you cannot. I mean, you cannot do that one overnight. So it will take time, as what you mentioned. It's a very good point because that's somehow the I mean, that's the superficial solution to some arguments that yes, we are cutting down trees, we're transforming lands into agricultural or into another plantation or something like that. However, we're planting another tree instead. So Anyway, the point is that it will take time. It will not be the same amount of, let's say, proportion in terms of the use or the mechanism of the nature or the forest that you have that you cut down. So reforestation perhaps is what will not suffice deforestation. So that's a good point. I was able to ask that question because I mean, knowing your background, you are in East Kalimantan. Kalimantan perhaps is considered to be the number two in the world in terms of biodiversity next to Brazil. And because of deforestation, I've heard a lot of news coming out surfacing regarding plantation all over Kalimantan. Um, and that is also the reason why some of the forests in Kalimantan area were transformed into plantations. Okay, so I guess I just would like to know also on a personal note the extent of deforestation. That's my point. I want to know, my second question is I want to know the extent of deforestation in your area in the east of Kalimantan, because the world knows this is the second in terms of biodiversity, the flora and the fauna, and this is next to Brazil in terms of biodiversity. So how much is the extent of deforestation in East Kalimantan for you, as far as you know?
Well, I think speaking about the scale of the destruction caused by this deforestation is to say to say the least almost reaching half of the
Half.
the original forest areas. I
Oh,
couldn't really I'm not sure about the exact figures, but it's almost like a half or somewhere around that number,
wow.
because it has already been happening since 1960s, as I recall. So yeah, with if we compare today's forest coverage areas to those back in 1960s, I guess I could say, yeah, we almost lost like half of our forest areas due to land to forest fires for CPOs productions. Those companies are the main major player in causing this deforestation.
I see. I see. That's a good point as well. All right. Moving on to some facts. That's a very good point. That's how much forest is destroyed.
Mhm.
Maybe not really daily. When you mention about half, that's quite a big proportion of it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, how much for our rainforest exists now? I mean, as far as you know, the rainforest in Kalimantan, is it still plenty in terms of hectares or per square kilometer? How much per square kilometer of forest are cut down as far as you know?
Well, I'm not really sure about the exact numbers of the forest coverage areas, but as far as I'm concerned now, one particular provinces in Kalimantan Island that has the highest coverage of rainforest is Central Kalimantan, as I recall.
Mhm.
Besides to that is between East Kalimantan or West Kalimantan. Those are the three provinces which has the highest proportion of rainforest with respect to their administration areas. But I'm not really sure about how many square per kilometers do they cover. Uh, I don't know the data, but
Okay, no
I look
problem.
forward to see the data furthermore to confirm about that my claim.
No worries about that one. It's okay. I just want to have I mean, a portion of the pie, so no problem. I'll move on to my next question. Deforestation is very important subject or a topic nowadays. which affects every single one of us. Why do you think there are only few people who participate in the struggle of protecting the rainforest? What
Mhm.
is your personal note on that? Why do so many or so few? Why why do so few people participate in the struggle protecting the rainforest?
Uh, I'm not sure, but it's actually no. I mean, actually, there's a lot of people who are really enthusiastic in joining this movement, but the problem, Mike, lies in the elites behind the corporates that working that is the major actor behind this deforestation. For example, as I mentioned before, about the CPOs companies, they have the upper hands,
Mm,
even to the extent of the government that controls the regulatories of wildlife and forests, something like that. So actually, the, the number of people who are joining the movement is pretty high, but if we're talking about the terms of powers, then we're just no no rival to the elites behind those companies. So that's my major problem as well. And it doesn't help that our new laws that being established by the People's Council allows for more for the ease of these companies to extend their contracts. So that's really saddening to see.
all right, nice. I still have two more questions actually, just to to pop up some ideas pertaining to this topic. I'd like to know this one. What do you or what can we do against or can we do something as normal citizens? How can we do something to fight against deforestation as a simple citizen?
Well, if we are talking about directly overcoming this deforestation issue, uh, we can do that by uniting in one single powerful movement,
Mhm.
one single powerful and coordinated movement that able to cause an influence to government and then to white people to persuade them more to care about this deforestation issue. Especially, we are talking about convincing the government even more to uh, consider more about the effects of the laws that they are established to the wildlife. So that's one thing that I could think of. But we can also start doing this simply by growing a tree uh, around our houses, maybe, or maybe around our school, as a way to compensate the loss of forests that we have. But it should be done by all of the people, if possible, by growing trees, and it's being done by all the people. I believe that we can overcome this.
I see. That's a very good point as well, because we all know that this deforestation is a problem that we face. However, because of its widespread effect, or we tend to just neglect it for some reason. That's why the last question would be something like this: is deforestation a necessary evil? What
Yeah,
do you think? Is it a necessary evil?
well, if it's necessary, then yeah, we cannot defy that. If it's necessary for the sake of the goods of other people. But as I mentioned before, we should also care about we should think about other ways to compensate the negative effects that we have done to the wildlife around it. So it's like when you're cutting trees, then you have to grow a trees as well. That's one way uh, to compensate it. So yeah, I think it's fine I mean, like, deforestation is not necessarily evil if it's followed by an effort to recover it. I
Right.
guess that's
Mhm.
one way about it.
And I think the beauty of our world is that it has the tendency to revive itself. It
Yeah,
might take a longer time. However, it has the ability to heal. So it needs people, it needs us to also help in the healing process. So I guess we have to work this particular endeavor all together. So having ideas like this, sharing ideas like the importance of having information pertaining to our environment, our forest, the surroundings that we have is vital, especially in today's world. So thank you so much for the meaningful insights, Mr. Dimas.
and thank you for the opportunity.
You're always welcome. It's good to hear fresh ideas. It's coming from people who are really on the footprints where this particular thing is happening and still ongoing. So
Yeah.
hopefully we can see the benefits of these or the benefits of the survival or the reforestation, I should say, and hopefully we can also push through some ideas. We have some viewers here. Um, I would like to mention some of the viewers here. Marvin, hello, thank you, Marvin Manligis from the Philippines. Is from the Philippines. May tanong ka tungkol sa ano, Marvin? Do you have any question pertaining to our topic this afternoon? You can type your question if you have so that our friend here, our resource person, Mr. Dimas, can also answer. Okay, come on. If you have questions for those who are watching, you may type your question so that we can also tell or ask our resource person this afternoon. Once again, thank you so much for those who are joining us here. It's I want to share it live so that everyone will be able to have a glimpse of this particular topic. And then also, Dimas, once again, thank you for the opportunity and thank you for sharing your knowledge. And this
Yeah.
will not be the last. All right. So with that, since there were no questions asked, okay. So I think we need to end our stream. Thank you once again and enjoy the rest of the day. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon. All right.
You too.
We're live in YouTube with Mr. DONDEE talking about deforestation. Now signing off. Thank you.